We just got set photos for The Flash Season 9, Episode 10. They're currently filming in Vancouver. And obviously, people are going to take set photos all the time. So we knew about Oliver, Dig, Wally, and Bulwark. We knew prior, but seeing them on set. And Oliver turns to Green Arrow, and that's Spectre. At least what appears to be just a Green Arrow. You could be returning Spectre through Green Arrow. I did a full video on that. I'm not going to go into it much more. But the point is that set photos are a big thing. It kind of ruins some stuff. But it does cause more content. So, for those who enjoy my videos, you're getting more content you've gotten out of me over the last, month than you have the past 6. So, I guess that's something. But we did get some photos for 9/10, The Flash. I'm just going to be looking at 2 of them because they're pretty important ones. I don't know really much about the others. I haven't seen them. These are the only 2 that have been floating around social media. They are by Canada Grass. You can check out his Patreon posts in the description down below. And it will be the top link in the description as well. So, obviously you gotta pay for it. But if you want to see more of these photos, you can go check out Canada Grass Patreon. Again, description down below, top link. But without further ado, some of these set photos. So, in the set photo, we see John Wesley Shipp and Michelle Harrison, who played Henry Allen and Nora Allen, Barry's parents, and Jay Garrick and Joanne Garrick in post-crisis world. Pre-crisis, it was Jay Garrick and Joanne. I don't think it was Garrick, because I don't think they were married, were they? Pre-crisis. Post-crisis, we're assuming they are, or their future versions are. But the thing here is that Jay and Joanne, they know about Barry's parents. And they're on Earth Prime. And Barry's parents are dead post-crisis. We knew that since season 6. So this is not them two just out and about, or Barry's parents are alive post-crisis, or, Jay and Joanne just wandering around the city. I would be a little bit surprised if that was the case, considering it's like a whole Harrison Wells situation where if they see Harrison Wells' face, they're going to connect him to Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, or just, the Reverse Flash in general. It was a big thing throughout several seasons of The Flash. That's why we had a whole HR face thing that never got used since Todd Helbing and Eric Walls came in and used it again, but not for Harrison Wells, but for Frost, which made sense. Why? But for Harrison Wells, it would make a lot more sense if it was used for Harrison Wells and not, someone who's not Harrison Wells. Although it's been, at the time, 6 years? I guess everyone could forget. I wouldn't be surprised. But I am leaning to believe that this is Henry and Nora in this episode. And I'm assuming it's a flashback, or at least maybe not a flashback per se, because we do see Barry here. And this is our Barry. That's with Henry and Nora. So there are 2, maybe 3 possibilities I can see happening here. One is a flashback to Flashpoint, which, unless it'd be a whole new scene that we never seen before, that's the only way this could possibly work. If it was during that few month time period of when Flashpoint was created to when we picked up in season 3 premiere, then yeah, I could see it being the case. Because again, Barry's parents are not alive post-crisis. They're dead. We've known that. Even if, Oliver could bring... The only person Oliver could bring back related to Barry would be Henry. He couldn't bring back Nora because it now screw up the entire timeline of Barry becoming the Flash, working to get Henry out of prison, which would then tie into Zoom's story arc of Henry not getting out of prison because he wouldn't go to prison, never would have went there. Nora wouldn't have died to Thawne, and young Barry may have died, or Thawne may have been created, or at least the Reverse Flash wouldn't, because then the Flash wouldn't have been created. It would have been a whole time loop, and it would have been just post-credits would have been a hellhole to begin with, no Flash, and his parents are going to die eventually. It just would have been a hellhole. Like, Oliver couldn't bring Robert Queen back. He brought Nora back, but that was a different story. Nora didn't affect Barry in a Nora didn't affect the story arc of Oliver in a massive way. It affected him, sure. But when you look at Barry's parents' deaths, like Henry and Nora, Nora's death especially affected both Barry and Henry. But when Henry died, Barry created Flashpoint because of that, and it taught him to never do time travel unless absolutely necessary, like Armageddon or whatever else happening in this episode, if it's assuming it is time travel, something like that. Now, in another promo image, we see Barry on the ground like he's collapsed. I'm assuming he's losing his speed here, which it wouldn't be a Flash season if Barry didn't lose his speed, let's be real. Every single season of The Flash, Barry has lost his speed. Eric Wallace seems to make it work. I don't know if everyone thinks so. That's because they really just focus on the bad and nothing else. But from what I've seen, and it's been every single episode of The Flash like 10 times over, ever since Eric Wallace came on the show in season 6, every time Barry's lost his speed, it's actually made sense. Like, it's actually, like, really good writing, at least from my point of view. I know people disagree with that, but, like, you know, maybe quit hating on the show and look at the good stuff. It would be nice. So I'm sure Eric Wallace will pull this off in some fashion. But when Barry collapses, you can see, again, assuming here, Henry and Nora looking over Barry. I don't know if, like, maybe Barry's in the past for some reason to figure out information about a new villain that's in town or something, and his speed gets messed up or something, and he just collapses. And then Henry and Nora rush over, and it's a whole scene. Maybe Nora would say that this Barry looks like her father, because if you remember in the season 1 finale, she said that Barry at that time looked like her father. Like they had identical looks. You know. So, I don't know. It'd be a really emotional scene if that was, though, because, yeah, but again, assuming that this isn't like another Earth's Flashpoint, like, because we are bringing multiverse in this season, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say Barry's on our Earth and it's where Flashpoint's still happening, but we're not running into that Earth's version's Barry Allen or Flash. I guess. I don't know. Maybe on that Earth, Barry Allen died instead of Henry. Would that make any sense? I guess. I don't know. It'd be a whole thing, though, that's for sure. But it's just, to me, I can't imagine this being a scene where Henry, Nora, and Barry are not interacting with each other. I don't see that not being the case. What I see being the case here is that Barry's interacting with with Henry and Nora. I don't know. Their eyes are going to be interacting, but what I mean is, like, Henry and Nora know it's Barry. Like, because they're a kid. Like, he's been growing up with them for the last 30 years. Or 29. Assuming they have a 30th birthday party this season, which I wouldn't be surprised. Then, because thanks to A16, the gift that keeps on giving, Barry de-aged to 1 year. Yeah. I really do not like A16. The only good thing about A16 was, like, the humor with Barry that we haven't gotten since, like, season 2. But everything else, the directing and the writing, the excuses for Barry being nerfed was so stupid. Anyways, I talked about like every chance I get to hate on A16, I take it. It's really the only bad episode of the season, in my view, but I know everyone disagrees with that because it's an OG episode of OG season, and God forbid we get away from OG stuff. We actually enter a new era of the show, which is totally not needed, like ever, because nothing grows apparently. Again, I would be somewhat surprised if this is Jay and Joanne. It could be. But last I checked, they're based off of Keystone, not Central City. So unless Barry's in Keystone, right, they're in Keystone, aren't they? I could have sworn they were. They might be in Central City, but that place that they're in, well, it might be in Central City. Or he's a Keystone. We learned it's in 7, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's either Keystone or Central City. I know it's not Coast City. But if it's Keystone, I mean, it makes sense for them to be out and about because, no one's going to recognize them. Even in Central City, the only people who would recognize them would be Joe, Barry, and maybe Singh. And if there are a few old cops in the force that have been there since Barry's parents died, like Joe and Singh, or somebody who's been really studying the case files of Barry's father and mother's murderer, but, I mean, it wouldn't be distinguishable to anyone because no one would really pay attention to it. So, I mean, this whole case with Harrison Wells, like I brought up earlier, no one cares. That's the day and age we live in. It's kind of realistic if you think about it. But, another thing to point out is that it does seem like Henry and Nora, just based off the clothes they're wearing, I'm trying to pull up images of Henry on my phone while I'm talking about it. But it does seem like it is Henry and Nora more than anyone else. I mean, Jay had similar clothing styles to Henry, but the matter of the fact is that he's in a collared shirt, tie, like he's been at work or something. He's in a trench coat. It seems like this is Henry and Nora. Jay is humanly retired from a job. His number one job is being the Jay Garrick Flash, the Golden Age Flash. Is his number one priority. This is why it's hinting at me that it's a flashback. Now, we knew that John relationship would be in this season. I didn't think it would be through Henry and Nora, but I am perfectly okay with these two showing up. But another thing this points to is that there might not be a graphic novel at the end of the season. Because they're on 9/10. Now, 9/10 might set up a final graphic novel, but that would be 3 episodes. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, Season 8 had that too. Kind of. Not really, though. Because 8/17 had 3.5. So unless Season 9 is gonna pull that off to where 9/10 is like a mix between the beginning of the final graphic novel and here's stuff with Barry making a Barry-centric episode. Because this seems like a Barry-centric episode. I assume that's what they're doing, and then that's going to make Barry unconscious for the entire episode to where it's like Liger-centric. That being said, it's probably what they're doing. It's probably not even a Liger-centric, it's probably Cecile-centric to wrap up Cecile's crappy storyline. Because we totally need that in this season. Good lord. That's 100% what they're doing. Barry's going to be unconscious the entire episode. He'll wake up in like the middle and work his way back home. Throughout that time, they'll be doing present day stuff with Allegra, Chester, Cecile, and Joe. Well, maybe not Joe, but... Or no, because Joe and Singer are in this episode too. And it looks like a flashback because Joe's a cop. Unless he gets his job back. So yeah, this is the flashback episode. Or a time travel episode at very least. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's something, that's for sure. If it is a flashback, I mean... Or at least like a time travel thing, Barry's identity wouldn't be completely blown because they wouldn't recognize him, right? Because Barry's too young. That could actually be the case. Henry and Nora being alive, Sing and Joe both being cops. Joe looking like not a beat cop, but well, he wouldn't be a new one, but a detective at the very least. And Henry and Nora being alive would be sending it back to way back, like when Barry was like 10, probably. So, I mean, if our Barry's are anything with them, it wouldn't really mess up anything, right? You would think. Then again, we are dealing with the, in the premiere, we're going to be dealing with time loops, Groundhog Day type thing, so it's probably a time travel episode. There's going to be a lot of time travel this season, I already know it, which I'm all here for. It's not that I'm not. And I also want to point out that this is like the 30th guest star for season 9. I'm going to do a full video probably next week at this point, because I was planning on doing it tonight, but of course we got more news, which I'm okay with. It makes more content, like I said earlier, but we literally have like 20 to 30 guest stars that we know of in this season. If there weren't set photos, people taking photos of them on set, we would only know about like 10 of them. So, but literally about 20 to 30 that we know of are guest stars in season 9 of The Flash. That is the most guest stars in just 10 episodes alone of any superhero thing in general. There's never been this many cameos in a superhero anything. Like comics or television, movies, anything. I've never seen this many guest stars in one little era of a show or superhero iteration with this many guest stars. It's gonna leave a mark, that's for sure. I hope it's a good mark and not a stupid one, but, that's always going to be something. So, again, it's just going to be a whole thing of where, they really take it, if it'll work out or not. It just depends where it all goes, really. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.